I've hated coffee my entire life, which makes backpacking mornings a little awkward. Because if you've ever been around a group of backpackers in the morning, everyone has coffee. I mean, everyone. And there I am, just standing there with a cup of hot water like a weirdo. But somewhere in my mid-40s, something changed. I started noticing that mornings were getting a little harder, especially on backpacking trips. And recently I found something weird that might actually be the closest thing to coffee that I've actually enjoyed. It's called mushroom coffee. And before you click away thinking that sounds terrible, I thought the same thing. I grew up hating coffee. And part of that was because I have ADHD. And as a kid, I was already pretty hyper. So adding caffeine on top of that never sounded like a good idea. Even when I was in college and everyone was drinking coffee because they were exhausted, I still couldn't get myself to drink it. Later in life, I even stopped drinking sodas because the caffeine would just make me feel overly stimulated. So because of all of that, I never really developed a taste for coffee. I've always been a bit more of a hot tea person, but even with tea, the caffeinated versions were never really my favorite. And for most of my life, that was fine. But once I got into my 40s, I started noticing something. My energy in the mornings just wasn't quite the same. And on backpacking trips, those first couple miles in the morning started feeling a little harder. Then a friend of mine introduced me to something called mushroom coffee. Now, when I first heard that, my immediate reaction was probably the same as yours. Mushrooms? In coffee? And then people started telling me things like, it tastes a little like dirt, which honestly didn't make it sound any more appealing. But at the same time, I'd been hearing more and more about mushroom supplements and some of the benefits that people talk about, like gut health and focus. And so finally I figured, why not try it? So the brand that I ended up trying for my friend was called Rise. And to be honest, I went into it thinking that I probably wasn't going to like it. But here's the surprising part. I actually really liked it. Now, I'm not going to pretend that it tastes exactly like coffee, because it doesn't. And yeah, it's a little bitter. But honestly, after drinking hot teas for most of my life, especially ones without sweeteners, the taste really didn't bother me. If anything, it reminded me more of a real earthy tea instead of coffee. And if someone doesn't like the bitterness, you can always add sweeteners like honey, sugar, or whatever you use. But the bigger surprise to me wasn't the taste. It was how it made me feel. One of the things that I like about it is that it has a small amount of instant coffee mixed into the mushrooms. So you do get a little caffeine, but not nearly as much as you would in a regular cup of coffee. So for me, that ended up being perfect. So it ended up giving me just enough energy to get started in the mornings, without having that overly stimulated feeling or even that crash later. The other thing that I noticed is the mushroom blend ends up helping with gut health. And honestly, that's something that can help a lot when you're out backpacking. The other thing that I like is just the simplicity. When you're out in the backcountry, you don't want complicated systems. This is basically the same as instant coffee. You make some hot water, you pour in the packet, and you stir it. And boom, you're done. Now, I do want to mention a couple things that might be negatives for some people. The first is price. Rise is more expensive than a cheaper instant coffee. So if you're someone who already likes coffee, there might be some cheaper ways that you can add mushroom supplements to your routine. There are also other mushroom coffee blends out there, like Four Sigmatic and Mudwater, and a few others that I found. So Rise isn't the only option. But for me, I found a lot of the other brands to still taste more like coffee, which, as I mentioned, I don't really like. So I really like Rise more so than the others because it doesn't have that strong coffee flavor to me. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the caffeine level. If you're someone who's used to drinking a lot of coffee and getting a lot of caffeine each day, then this might not be enough caffeine for you. Now, there are ways to handle that. You can double up the scoops that you're taking, but then it ends up becoming even more expensive. But if you're someone like me, who's already a little sensitive to caffeine, it might actually be a better balance. And one more thing that I would definitely recommend. If you've never tried mushroom supplements, don't try them for the first time on a backpacking trip. they can take a week or two for your body to adjust to. So it's always better to test this kind of stuff at home when you're in a safe environment. So who do I think that something like this is actually good for? First, people like me who really don't like coffee. Second, people who are sensitive to caffeine but still want a little bit of a pick-me-up in the mornings. And third, backpackers who like simple things that are easy to make in camp. For me, it's basically just become another option alongside tea. And honestly, I don't know that I'd still call myself a coffee drinker, but this definitely might be the closest that I've ever come. Backpacking mornings is one of my favorite things about being out in the mountains. The cold air of the morning, the quietness of the forest as it's coming alive, and watching the beautiful sunsets as they come up over the mountains. And for most backpackers, that moment includes a cup of coffee. So for me, it took a few decades to find something that worked. But if you're someone who doesn't love coffee either, then mushroom coffee might be something worth trying. And if you're curious about the one that I've been using, I'll make sure to put a link down in the description below. They do sign you up for a reoccurring supply, but you can always cancel that later, or if you really just want to try it out, they even have it nowadays in Target in the little bitty packets, which are perfect for being able to take out on the backpacking trips anyway. Just remember, don't try it for the first time when you're out in the backcountry. As always, guys, I hope this was helpful. And maybe one of these days, we'll share a cup of coffee out on the trail.